I call this pre-meeting briefing of the Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD Board of Trustees to order at 6:01 p.m. on January 12, 2023. Purpose of this pre-meeting briefing is to conduct a briefing session with administrative staff regarding the posted agenda for the regular board meeting scheduled at 7 o'clock tonight, January 12, 2023. Everybody okay? For the record, the board members present are Sally Derrick, Cassandra Hatfield, Kim Brady, Ileana Garza Rojas, Les Black, and Carolyn Benavides. The next item is audience for guests. Persons who wish to speak during audience for guests must have completed the form for the purpose and placed it in designated location prior to the opening of the meeting. Do we have any people speaking? None. So we will move past agenda item number 2 and move to agenda item number 3, which are our administrative reports. Mr. Mersch, are there any reports by administration tonight?
Yes, sir. Mr. Guerra will present item 5H, 5I, 5J, and 5K.
Thank you, Mr. Mersch. Good evening, Dr. Black and the rest of the board. So we just wanted to talk a little bit tonight about the purchasing process and how it works. And you can see there's a bunch of stuff on there tonight for the purchasing for y'all to approve in the consent item. So just to kind of talk purchasing, there's really 3 types of purchases. There's a new bid, there's renewals, and there's what we call perpetual bids. And you can see, we just had audit, I'm sorry. So I, J, and K, consent items I, J, and K are all perpetual bids, which they're year-round, which to help us as a district, we leave those bids open because there's always new vendors that are coming about, new contracts that we're trying to get. So we leave the bids open, and what it does is it allows us gives us the ability to negotiate with these vendors once y'all approve these bids. So we leave the bids open and we vet them, and if they pass the bid process, then we go into negotiations with them. So the item E is the purchasing report, and because how purchasing law works, anything in the aggregate for a fiscal year that's over $50K has to be competitively procured, which means we have to bid it out. So it can be a pen or a pencil. If we're going to buy $50,000 worth of classroom supplies or school supplies, obviously district-wide will go well over $50,000 for almost everything. So what the state has allowed is us to be a part of cooperatives. So what it is like, we'll bid something out, and we'll be able to share it with other districts when we sign interlocal agreements, which is part of the bid that y'all are approving tonight as well. So, like I said, if we had to bid out every pen, every pencil, every eraser, stuff like that, it would really bog down and would really cost a lot of money to post bids, to advertise them, to close them, to open them, all that stuff. So the cooperatives are a really good source for the district to maximize our dollars, be able to piggyback off of other districts' contracts as well. So that's what the bids are. That's what the interlocal agreements are. And that's like item G and H are the same as item C, but we just kind of, because they're newer contracts for us, so we put them separately just to point them out to y'all that we're adding 2 more cooperatives to the list. So if there's any question on any of this stuff, then I can take it at this time.
Any questions from the board tonight? I don't see any questions. Thank you very much, Larry, for the information.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guerra. Excuse me.
We have one more report, and that's item 5L, and Ms. Rivera Franco.
Thank you, Mr. Mersch. Good evening, Dr. Black and the rest of the board. For consent item 5L, we are asking that you approve the amended minutes for the August 4th regular board meeting, which was approved at the September regular board meeting. For item 5G regarding the purchase of attendance credits, TEA requires that specific wording is included in the minutes, which was not included in the original minutes. Therefore, we revised the minutes to include the specific wording that is presented in your packet as required by TEA. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? All right. Thank you very much for the information. Mr. Mercer, are there any further reports from the administration tonight?
No, sir, no further reports.
All right. With that, we will move to agenda item number 4. Board members, do you have any questions regarding any of the consent agenda items? Ms. Hatfield.
Mr. Gare, can we come back to the purchasing, and can you remind us what are the different thresholds for when things come before the board?
They say I talk soft, so I'll get up here. By law, anything over 50K in the aggregate for the fiscal year has to be brought before board. And also in board policy that anything over $100,000, regardless of how it was procured or if it's already been approved, we have to bring it back to you as a board to say, hey, this is what we're buying.
Are there any further questions from board members? Okay, thank you very much. So we will move to agenda item number 5. We've reached the end of the agenda for this pre-meeting briefing, and we'll adjourn at 6:08 p.m.
Test. Test.
He wants it on. The tabletop puts a meter down. Leave that one on. Okay, yeah, leave that one on. He's just gonna turn it up a little bit.
Well, I got this one here.
Yeah, he's got
Test.
Yeah, there you go. More curve. Yeah, I hear it.
Okay, so there's no mute control. Undo it. So it's muted here.
That's not even working then, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, at least they can hear.
So they'll just need to control it from the button.
I call this regular meeting of the Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD Board of Trustees to order at 7 p.m. on January 12th, 2023. Board members, district staff members, and members of the audience, you're free to join me in standing as Jeanette Papadopoulos of the Educational Foundation provides a message followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Sally Derrick, and the Pledge to the Texas flag, led by Cassandra Hatfield.
Good evening, esteemed board members and CFB family. Let's bow our head in prayer. Dear God, the creator of heaven and earth, nothing in this world catches you by surprise. You knew that we would be gathered here today long before we planned it. Thank you for opening up doors for us to have a chance to celebrate achievements and resolve challenges for our students and our community. Lord, protect us from the beginning to the end. Please shield us from negativity and help us walk in the path that you have set for us. Lord, we thank you for your guidance for us all here tonight as we seek to make wise decisions for this school district and our community. Give us rest from any worry and peace to trust in the outcomes from what we vote or may not vote on tonight. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, one, liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you, Ms. Papadopoulos, for those words. And thank you all for being here. It's a lovely night here in 2023. I hope everyone's New Year's off to a good start. We want to thank all the recognition and nice things that have been provided for the board. We had a reception before our pre-briefing, and lots of nice things from students and teachers and administrators and campuses across the district provided for board members, notes and cards, and so I know that I probably can speak for the board that we'll all have be enjoying reading through our notes and cards and looking at the artwork and all the nice things that the students of the district have put together for us. So thank you all for that. As a district, we dedicate all our efforts and resources to our goal of high expectations for all. The board uses this goal to guide all deliberations, decisions, and actions. You will get to see all deliberations, decisions, and actions of the board in open session, with the exception of some items which may be discussed in a closed session, as stipulated in the Texas Government Code Section 551, commonly known as the Open Meetings Law. These items typically deal with personnel matters, consultation with our attorney, and real estate. For the record, the board members present are Sally Derrick, Cassandra Hatfield, Kim Brady, Ileana Garza Rojas, myself, Les Black, Carolyn Benavides. We constitute a quorum and may conduct business on behalf of the district. Before moving on to the next agenda item, I would like to remind you that the board will accept comments from citizens of the district and from district employees. Persons who wish to speak during audience for guests must have completed a form for this purpose, placed it in the designated location prior to the opening of the meeting. When the board addresses agenda item number 3, which is audience for guests, you will be invited to the podium to speak to the board. So we'll move now to agenda item number 2, which are our special presentations and recognitions. Ms. Parnell, I will turn it over to you.
Good evening, Dr. Black, Mr. Marsh, and members of the board. Tonight we want to begin our recognitions by thanking our talented students at Newman Smith High School for sharing their creative artwork with us. The artwork is actually in the lobby tonight, and it's beautiful, so I hope you'll take a few minutes during our break to make sure to look at it. Next, we would like to begin by introducing our student recognitions. So if Mr. Marsh and Dr. Black, if you would come forward. We have 2 talented students that we want to introduce to you. We're going to start with James Lee. James is an 11th grader. He's from Creekview High School, and he qualified in cello for the 2023 Texas Music Educators Association Symphony Orchestra. Congratulations, James. Also, we have Aaron Jacob. Aaron is a senior at Ranch View High School, and he qualified in piano for the 2023 Association of Texas Small School Bands Jazz Band. Now we have some staff recognitions, and we would like to introduce some grant recipients, and these are from Delta Kappa Gamma Society, and this is a worldwide organization of key women educators who help promote professional and personal growth of educators and excellence in education. Each year, the local organization offers up to 4 $250 grants to teachers who are in their 1st to 5th year of teaching. The purpose of the Early Educator Grant Program is to endow grants to fund classroom resources such as books, manipulatives, learning games, adaptive special education materials, software licenses, and more. Funds for the grants come from the Kappa Phi's annual Christmas auction. Thank you to the Early Educator Grant Committee who are with us tonight. We have Debbie Moss and Vicki Hare, as well as the president, which is Lee Nicholas, for their leadership in this initiative. So grant winners, as I call your name, if you'll please come forward and stay up front, we're going to get a group picture with you tonight. So this year, $250 each to these 4 deserving early educators, and they are Braylee Atchery from Stark Elementary, a first grade teacher. Meredith Wilder, Ranch View High School Orchestra. Katie Thompson, Bush Middle School 6th grade reading. And Josna Gang at Bush Middle School 6th grade writing. And Vicki, Debbie, and Lee, if you would please come forward, we want to get a group shot with the winners as well as the organization leaders. Congratulations again. January is School Board Appreciation Month, and we would like to thank our CFB school board members, our trustees, for their contributions to our students, to our staff, and the community. And board members, at this time, we'd like to ask you to come forward and stand in front of the dais, please. And as you make your way, I would like to introduce Mayor of the City of Carrollton, Steve Babbitt, to come forward for a special presentation and proclamation, as well as we have Richard Fleming, a City Council member, with us.
Thank you so much. As Mayor of Carrollton and on behalf of our City Council, I just want to say that Carrollton, you know, our vision is to be the community that families and businesses want to call home. It's no secret, and Tara Herbachik's husband, Doug Herbachik, former council member, would tell you that people choose their communities of where they live because of their schools and their parks and their police, safe communities to live. And so, you know, as we think about our partnership as a city with our school districts, CFB has been a longtime partner of ours, very solid, delivering on student excellence and so forth. And so on behalf of our liaison, Richard Fleming, our council, and as mayor, I wanted to provide this proclamation. Whereas the mission, of the public schools is to meet the diverse educational needs of all children and to empower them to become competent, productive contributors to a democratic society and an ever-changing world. And whereas local school board members and board trustees are committed to children and believe that all children can be successful learners and that best education is tailored to the individual needs of the children. And whereas the local school board members work closely with parents, educational professionals, and other community members to create the educational vision we want for our students. And whereas local school board members and board trustees are strong advocates for the public education and are responsible for the communicating the needs of the school district to the public and the public's expectations to the district. Now therefore I, Steve Babick, Mayor of the City of Carrollton, urge all citizens to join me in recognizing the dedication and hard work of local school board members and trustees who mold an education system that meets the needs of all children. I hereby declare my appreciation to the members of the Carrollton-Farmers Branch Independent School District Board of Trustees and proclaim the month of January 2023 in Carrollton as School Board Appreciation Month. Signed by my signature on behalf of the City Council of Carrollton. We appreciate all you do. Thank you so much. Yes.
No. And board members, we're going to ask y'all to stay up front, stay in front of the dais. Finally, tonight we have a special presentation, another one, to thank you for the work that you do for our students and staff. And we wanted you to hear directly from our students. So we have two special speech. These are speech students from Creekview High School. They're both juniors, Dawn Kim and Hiab Wasum, who will make a special presentation on behalf of the students and staff in CFB.
January is School Board Recognition Month in the state of Texas, and Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD joins in the celebration by honoring our CFB ISD Board of Trustees.
The theme of this year's School Board Recognition Month is Forward Together, which highlights the collaboration among school leaders, teachers, and parents on behalf of students.
Texas school boards are critical to the success of students and the future of Texas. School boards lead districts by providing oversight, setting goals, and overseeing the budget, and selecting and evaluating the superintendent. These volunteers serve for the betterment of their local schools and communities.
Tonight, we want to honor and celebrate our own Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD trustees. On behalf of the student body, employees, and communities, we applaud the efforts of our CFB trustees and the leadership and excellent governance they provide to our district.
Thank you, board members, for your commitment and dedication to ensuring that all students in CFB ISD have access to a successful educational experience.
Board members serving CFB ISD are Dr. Liz Black, President. Sally Derrick, Vice President. Cassandra Hatfield, Secretary.
Kim Brady, Member. Carolyn Benavides, Member. Liliana Garza Rojas, member. Tara Herbacek, member.
Finally, tonight, we would like to honor our teachers of the 9 weeks. So if you would please join me in watching this brief video announcing our recipients.
Christina Schmidt, McCoy Elementary. Emily McCurry, McCamey Elementary. Valeria Rodriguez, McLaughlin Strickland Elementary. Madison Ryan, McWhorter Elementary. Shervetta Brown, Rainwater Elementary. Emily Lewis, River Chase Elementary. Haley Moffitt, Rosemead Elementary. Terry Washington, Sheffield Elementary. Ariana Murillo, Stark Elementary. Skylar Plummer, Thompson Elementary. Jessica Steele, Blaylock Middle School. Dustin Woods, Barbara Bush Middle School. Gregory Thrasher, Field Middle School. And Taisha Brown, Long Middle School. Congratulations to our teachers of the 9 weeks.
And that concludes our recognitions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Parnell. Let's have another round of applause for our all-state musicians. Yes. And for our grant award recipients and all the things we have to celebrate tonight. Also, our teachers of the 9 weeks, we appreciate you so much. And thank you for all the recognition and the kind words, Mayor Babbitt, Councilman Fleming. We appreciate the partnership with the city so much. And thank you to our two young ladies who spoke so eloquently. And we appreciate you guys more than you can know. So we definitely, I think we feel the love tonight, and I hope you guys feel us giving it right back to all of y'all. Okay, so we will move to 2C now, which is actually 2D. Are we on? No, we are on district announcements now, 2C. So district announcements, Mr. Marsh.
Yes, sir. The 2023 Citizens Bond Planning Committee finalized their recommendation and will provide the recommendation to the Board of Trustees during the January 24th, 2023 work study meeting. It's been an incredible group. They went actually 2 meetings beyond what was scheduled. I've never seen a group that's been so engaged. It's pretty amazing. And when asked for members to present the recommendation, typically you would get around 2 or 3. 10 of the members volunteered. They're so passionate about the bond and wanting to get this information before the board out to the community that 10 of them volunteered. I want to recognize Malcolm Mulroney, Lilia Gehring, Bobby Shaw, operations team for all their hard work and dedication on that bond. They put in many, many hours to make that happen. Thank you, Malcolm. I want to thank Don Parnell and the communications team for the logistics for all those meetings. They did a fantastic job. So again, just to remind you, that recommendation will be made before the board on January 24th. There will also be a presentation in this room on Monday, January the 23rd at 7 p.m. entitled, "What Does a School Member Do?" It will be facilitated by Ms. Sally Derrick and Ms. Cassandra Hatfield, and I will turn this over to Ms. Derrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mersch. I'm very excited to tell the community that the board came together in the fall of last year through some team building sessions, and the work that we did helped us to build team of 8 priorities as board members. And one of those was to offer a session about what it's like to be on a school board prior to the next election season. So this is us as a board coming up with an idea that came out of training that we got last summer. We were looking at best practices from other school districts. What are they doing that they've found success with? And then what can we implement in Carrollton-Farmers branch? So I'm excited to say that we as a board work together to create a list of priorities, and this is the first one that we are moving forward. And like Mr. Mersch said, it's January 23rd at 7 p.m. here in the admin building, and the title is, "What Does a School Board Member Do?" Ms. Hatfield, do you have anything to add? No? Okay. We look forward to seeing people there.
Yes, I do want to add one more thing. I just want to take one more opportunity. I have a unique perspective to be able to see what this board does and what they do as individuals and what they do as a group. And I just want to express my personal appreciation for the hard work, the dedication, their student focus. It's pretty amazing. So on behalf of students, parents, CFB family, and the community, we thank you for your dedication and your hard work. If you just join me in showing them appreciation one more time, please.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move now to item 2D, which is an update from PTA, and I believe we have Ms. Bonnie Portraza with us this evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me time to update you on everything that Council PTA is doing this year. Our Vice President of Membership reports that at the end of 2022, our PTAs had registered 5,590 members. 9 schools will be recognized with the Golden Apple Award for having 100% faculty membership by the end of November of last year. 10 PTAs will be recognized as Shining Stars. The report to the superintendent is in progress. 11 PTAs have achieved a 3-year high in membership, and there's still time for 18 more PTAs to reach this achievement by the end of this month. 1 PTA has achieved Platinum Voice for Every Child Award with more than 100% enrollment represented, which would mean 1 member for every student that they have at the school. 25 PTAs are in good standing, 8 are in active status, 3 PTAs are struggling in active restructure status, an additional 4 are active restructure, and council is working with those that need help. Our Vice President of Programs is hard at work on this year's Wizard game, which is going to be at Newman Smith on February 25th. We appreciate Dawn for getting our Wizards update out to staff, and we need more players nominated. Right now we have 7 players and a coach, which is far less than we had last year. So please encourage all schools to participate. These nominations are due tomorrow. So get on that, please. Additionally, we'll be looking for volunteers to work the event itself. The assemblies have been scheduled to be on February 15th. They'll bring tricks and excitement to several campuses, so principals, be on the lookout for the email to sign your school up for a visit. It's a lot of fun. Ticket sales are live. Right now you can find the link to purchase them on our council Facebook page, and soon you'll see QR codes on posters go up kind of splashed around the district, at schools, and probably admin buildings with QR links to purchase tickets. Our advocacy chair has something really exciting for the 88th session of the Texas Legislature. Council PTA is sponsoring a bus to Austin for PTA Rally Day on Monday, February 27th, and would like to invite the Board of Trustees, administrative leaders, principals, teachers, and parents to come with us. We'll have 52 seats. We will meet with our legislators and other lawmakers to advocate for the legislative priorities of the Texas PTA, which by my judgment are particularly relevant this year as they pertain to teacher retention and funding for public schools. The bus is scheduled to leave Carrollton at 6:10 a.m. It's going to be a long day, and it will arrive back at 8:30. So mark your calendars and join us. Texas PTA is expecting 2,000 parents, educators, and kids to show up in Austin, and it would be wonderful to make sure that the needs and wants of CFB ISD are voiced from an array of our stakeholders in the district. It'll be a fun opportunity to advocate for public education, and more details are available on the Texas PTA website. There are some webinars, there's a rally day link. And to sign up for the bus, please contact the Council PTA Advocacy Chair, which is Zohair Bermal. He's here tonight. If you want his phone number, he's over there. So reach him. His email address is advocacy@cfbpta.org, and you can also reach out to any of the other Council PTA board members. Lastly, the reason I kind of was chosen, since I'm the Reflections Chair, I don't know if I said that, anyway, we're nearing the apex of our Reflections program this year, which is where we celebrate and award our amazing artists and showcase their art at the Reflections Awards ceremony. This year's theme is Show Your Voice, and the council received approximately 170 entries from 20 schools. 95 students will receive awards from Council PTA next week at the awards ceremony after our delegate meeting. 22 of the council level award recipients who were deemed best in their respective divisions will move on to the Texas PTA contest. We would love to have you all join us to celebrate the creative talents of all the children who participated in Reflections this year. And new to this year's event, we are going to be displaying the artwork at the ceremony. Instead of at the library, we're gonna showcase it during the event. So you'll get an opportunity to see all the wonderful things that the students have produced. I'll leave you with this. Please consider joining us for our delegate meeting and to honor the schools whose PTAs have earned recognition, and especially to honor all the artists receiving their distinctions. The meeting and awards ceremony begin at 6:30 on Wednesday, January 18th at the Watton Events Center. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ms. Petrozza. Thank you for that information. We're so indebted to everything that the PTAs do to help us have school. So thank you. And if you haven't ever been to a Reflection Award ceremony, you should definitely go. They're amazing. Okay, this is the point in the agenda where we normally would take a short recess. We've got a rather short agenda tonight, so we're not going to recess tonight, but we are going to just take a brief pause to allow any of you who would like to slip out to go ahead and do that. Those of you who are here for recognitions, we'd love for you to stay for our entire meeting, but we don't expect you to. So this is your chance to head to dinner. Head to your dinner, your 7:45 reservation. Thank you all for being here. And congrats again to all of you. Okay, so our next agenda item is agenda item number 3, which is audience for guests. Persons who wish to speak during audience for guests must have completed a form for this purpose and placed it in a designated location prior to the opening of the meeting. And we do have, I have one speaker here. Have we had any additional speakers? Okay. So before we begin, I'll remind our audience members of the board's procedures for handling audience for guests. Anyone interested to speak in person during audience for guests must have completed a form and listed the topic that they wish to discuss prior to the start of the meeting. Each speaker will be allowed to speak once during audience for guests and will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to address the board, dictated by our board policy BED Local, because the board wants to hear from as many of you as possible while also keeping the meeting running efficiently. Groups of more than 5 people who want to present a particular viewpoint on a topic should appoint one person to speak on behalf of the group. Please remember that the board cannot deliberate on any subject that is not included on the agenda for this meeting. Board members will listen to comments but will not respond or answer questions. We ask that you not discuss students who are not your own child. The timer will be shown on the screen in front of you and will begin when you arrive at the podium to speak. Again, speakers' presentations will be limited to 3 minutes. So I'll call our first speaker now, which is Mr. Richard Fleming.
Good evening. My name is Richard Fleming. First of all, I feel like I'm home a little bit. This has changed a little bit, but it's still looking good. I want to say first and foremost, my name is Richard Fleming. As most of you know, I'm former school board trustee for Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD from 2009 to 2018. Gladly I'm very proud to serve my school district. And as well, I grew up in this school district. I graduated from CFB ISD, 1986 graduate, so I am CFB. Let me say greetings to Mr. Mersch, greetings to Dr. Les Black, and the rest of the school board trustees. I know that this is Appreciation Month for school board members, so let me just say thank you for your service and thank you for your time, because I know all the hard work that goes into doing what you guys do. I want to talk a little bit about kind of why I'm here today. I'm here to talk about the agenda item for a district's annual report. I had a chance to review that, the Texas Academic Performance Report, commonly called the TAPER. If you look at the 2021-22 TAPER, the Texas Academic Performance Reports, which, by the way, for those that do not know, that pulls together a wide range of information on performance of students in each school district and in Texas. Performance is shown disaggregated by groups, including ethnicity, socioeconomic status, and the report also has extensive information on school district staff. And so I'm aware that we got the results of that, and I had the chance earlier this week to take a look at our third grade reading. Our third grade reading, when I took a look at it, and if you look at meets grade level or above, I see that our African American students third grade was at 39%. So 39% is at meet grade level or above. We're down from 11% over the previous year. The Hispanic is at 41% at meets grade level, which is down by 9% of 2021. But then the white students are at 69% at meets grade level, and they're up +8. So my question is what's happening with our third grade reading scores and our Black and Hispanic kids? Why the variance? During my tenure serving on this school board for 9 years, it has never been that low. And so as a professional, as a taxpayer, I'd just like to know, why is that, and what are we going to do to rectify that? Why do we have 11% decline in the Hispanics among third grade readers? Why do we have a 9% decline in African American readers? I mean, that's something that we all should be scratching our head and trying to figure out what's going on in our district. What's going on with our curriculum? What's going on in the classroom regarding our students?
Thank you, Mr. Fleming. Your time has expired. Thank you.
Okay, thank
I'm
you
sorry.
very much.
We'll now move to agenda item number 4. 4A is non-action items for discussion, and we'll get this annual report and House Bill 3 goals report from Dr. Parker.
Thank you. Okay, good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to share information on student performance here in CFB ISD. Please know that the data we'll be reviewing tonight was recently released by the Texas Education Agency last month on December the 15th. While the information on STAR is from the 2021-22 academic school year, our financial ratings and the college career military readiness factors are from the 2020-21 school year, in which a majority of our secondary students participated in remote instructional opportunities. Texas Education Code requires the Board of Trustees to publish an annual district performance report and hold a public hearing on information provided within the Texas Academic Performance Report, otherwise known as TAPER. This year, Carrollton-Farmers Branch Independent School District will hold their public hearing virtually beginning at 5 p.m. on Monday, January the 23rd, during the regularly scheduled District Improvement Council meeting. Tonight, we share with the board and those in attendance information related to this annual report, as well as an update on changes to this year's state testing and state accountability rating process. Each year, school districts are assigned 2 ratings, one on academic performance and another based on public school finance, known as FIRST. Last year, CFB ISD earned an overall accountability rating of an 88, a high B, with 7 campuses earning an A rating and 25 campuses earning a B. The district's financial rating was an A, the highest score based on the 2020-21 Financial Standards Report. Our 2022 Special Education Determination Status of Needs Assistance is continuing to be addressed through our restorative practices work in order to reduce disciplinary removal rates from our classrooms. Before we begin looking into academic performance, let's first take a look at a profile of our students and our district staff in CFB from last year. Our district serves students from ages 3 to 21 across 35 campuses and 3 educational centers. Last year, we enrolled nearly 25,000 students and employed over 3,500 personnel, of which 68% were professional staff. Our average teacher salary in CFB is a little bit more than $3,500 above the state's average. Full-time teachers comprised 52% of our full-time staff last year, and as this bar graph shows, a majority of our teachers, 56%, had over 5 years of classroom experience. The demographic profile of our student population shown here has remained relatively unchanged for the past 5 years, and our Hispanic population rate is very, very similar to the state. Regarding student enrollment by program type, we saw a slight decrease in economically disadvantaged students from 67.6% in 2021 to 63.6% in 2022. Our special education program rose from 13.6% to 13.9%, and emergent bilingual, formerly known as English language learners, increased from 33.4% to 35.1%. One thing to note about the percent of economically disadvantaged students shown here is that last year we were still under the federal COVID guidelines that allowed any student to receive a free lunch if needed. Looking at our current projections for this school year, we're on track to have an economically disadvantaged school enrollment of about 66.4%. Turning our attention to state testing results. The preliminary scores from 2022 were initially shared during our September 1st school board meeting. Those results included all students who tested during the spring semester and the spring administration of STAR 3 through 8 and end-of-course exams. The scores shown here were recently released by TAPER, and they include all versions of the STAR test, from 3 through 8, end-of-course test, as well as the end-of-course tests that were taken by students during the December administration, as well as the summer administration. Also included are our STAR Alternate 2 test scores. Additionally, these scores only include students who enrolled in CFB on the snapshot date, which is the last Friday of October. Now, our TAPER report that is released by the state of Texas includes 2 consecutive years of STAR data. However, for tonight, for comparative purposes, we're reporting last year's data that was reported in the district annual report as well. The table on the left shows 3-year comparison of student performance at the approaches grade level or above passing standard. The table on the right shows student performance at the higher meets grade level or above standard. Looking at all subjects combined for approaches grade level, 71% of students were at or above the passing standard. Substantial gains have been made in comparison to 2021, and we are only 5 percentage points away from the 2019 scores. Most notably, we can see here that our reading scores matched pre-COVID rate of 71% at the approaches grade level or above, and it actually rose above the pre-COVID scores in the meets grade level or above. Another requirement of the district's annual report is progress towards our House Bill 3 board goals. This information on grade 3 reading was previously shared during our June 2nd school board meeting. It shows a year-over-year comparison of the projected proficiency at the meets grade level score on grade 3 reading STAR test. In grade 3 reading, our scores increased 12 percentage points from 36% in 2021 to 48% in 2022, surpassing the House Bill 3 board goal set at 39%. Similarly, in grade 3 mathematics, scores increased 20 percentage points from 25% to 45% at meets grade level, surpassing the board goal set at 33. Now, these past two slides have shown our quarterly progress that's based on the MAP testing we do 3 times a year. Last month, the board received their first quarterly report for the current 2022-23 school year based on the fall MAP testing that occurred back in September, October. We have just wrapped up our winter MAP testing for our elementary and middle school grade levels, so more information regarding the quarter 2 progress will be shared in an upcoming board memo. With regard to CCMR board goals, the target for the class of 2021 was reset due to COVID at 68%. The target for the class of 2021 was reset due to COVID. The target was 69%. And at 68% of graduates in 2021 meeting the college, career, and military readiness, we came within 1 percentage point of meeting that goal. Our current projections for the class of 2022 is sitting at 60%. And we're continuing to find ways to rebound from the impact COVID had on our CCMR initiatives. Within this year's district and campus improvement plans, we've included strategies that target increasing participation and performance on our college readiness exams for our current high school students, as well as improving the alignment and the participation in career readiness programs. Now for a more expanded look at college, career, military readiness. CCMR includes more than just college readiness factors such as a test score on TSI Accuplacer, the SAT, or ACT. It also includes coursework taken by graduating seniors while they're enrolled in high school, such as dual credit, advanced placement, on-ramps, and college prep, as well as industry-based certifications earned through CTE classes. Additionally, it includes our students who are served by special education that graduate with an advanced diploma or complete IEP and workforce readiness requirements. Our graduates from the class of 2021 outperformed both the state and the region in terms of their overall CCMR and the percent of students that were graduating college ready. Turning our attention now to graduation rates. As shown on the 10-year trend line, CFB continues to have a 4-year graduation rate above 90%. The graduation rate for the class of 2021 in CFB was 93.7%, which is above the state's average of 90% and the region at 87.5%. In CFB, safety is our top priority. Last year, there were 58 mandatory expulsions in our district, which accounts for an overall incident rate of less than 0.25%. Through our Department of Safety and Security, all campuses now have a secured, safe entrance that includes a video bell intercom system. Interior and exterior cameras are continuing to be improved across the district, and additionally, security and school resource officers are present at all of our campuses. This spring, all of our students will be required to test in almost all of the subjects online. This test will include new question types that are more reflective of the classroom experiences and the features available on online testing, such as creating a number line or using a drag and drop method to label a map or to put things into sequential order. Within the reading test, students will be reading cross-curricular passages aligned to the grade level, and the STAR reading test will also include short or extended written responses such as an essay for all of the tested grade levels. Now, along with these upcoming changes to STAR and its format, our students, the actual testing window for our students for STAR 3 through 8 and EOC will remain the same as last year. Our students will take the STAR test at the end of April through the middle of May. However, the release of these scores are going to be delayed. Here we can see TEA's current timeline for when scores on the 3 through 8 assessment will be released. During the standard setting timeframe, TEA will provide districts with a data file of student performance with descriptors of likely passed, likely did not pass, or the label of zone of uncertainty. Until analysis and reporting is complete, the scale scores and the final performance levels will not be completed. Scores, we're so used to having our scores released by the end of June, shown on the texasschool.org portal for families to see. However, this year, our STAR 3 through 8 scores will not be available to the district or to the parents until August, and the end of course exams will be finalized around the first week of June. And coinciding with the STAR redesign is an A through F rating system refresh. For the past 5 years, we've been following a relatively similar accountability system with the same performance measures. And while this included and allowed for a better year-over-year comparison, some of the accountability measures were halted, such as not assigning letter grades for 2020 and 2021 due to the interrupted instruction caused by the COVID pandemic. We can see here, looking at TA's proposed timeline for the accountability refresh, we're currently at the halfway point of the transition process. Through March, additional feedback from stakeholders will be gathered, and a final draft of the accountability manual will be published during the summer, followed by the release of district and campus ratings in mid-September. The key takeaways from these changes are, first, this year's rating will be based on the new STAR test. The spring STAR 3 through 8 test scores will be delayed until August. The final updates for our accountability system is going to occur over the summer, and our A through F ratings will also be delayed this year. This concludes our presentation on student performance from the TAPER report released by TEA in December. And I'm also going to share a quick reminder that CFB will be holding a public hearing virtually beginning at 5 p.m. on Monday, January the 23rd, during the regularly scheduled District Improvement Council meeting.
Thank you. Board members, do you have any questions for Dr. Parker? Ms. Derrick?
I don't really have a question. I just have a few comments. Thank you, Dr. Parker, for your presentation. Just for the community, for a little background for everyone to understand that you're presenting tonight the TAPER, which is an annual report. The board was provided information earlier in the fall individually by your team to help us kind of break down the data from the STAR testing even more than what we're seeing right now in your presentation. And I want to applaud the team that had transparency in that process, because it gave the board the opportunity to ask questions and really dig into some of the data and where we were seeing gaps in reading scores, math scores, things like that. And so I have no doubt that the work began long ago on addressing some of those gaps. And I also think that just also speaks to the importance of the MAP testing that the board approves every year, because the MAP testing gives us much more frequent snapshots in time of what we're seeing, so that we're not just waiting until a STAR test once a year to find out where we're at. We're actually tracking it. Like you said, you can project and see where we're going and what we think is going to happen. We have a pretty good idea already because we have MAP data to show us what we're seeing in our schools. So just a little bit of background for the community, because I know that the TAPER report's just a lot of numbers all at once, but the board's been provided a lot of information in the background by your team in preparation for this presentation tonight. So thank you.
Ms. Benavides.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. I wanted to find out or ask you what impact could changes to the STAR test and accountability system have on our board goals?
That's an excellent question. One of the things is with regard to the online testing, our students have been testing online. They test on the MAP test. Large majority have tested online. We've also began that transition to students become familiar with the new question types, first with our teaching and learning and content area directors and the training that they received last year. training they've provided to their teachers through optimizing outcomes, and then we've been embedding some of those new question types where appropriate during their units and scopes and sequence. So with regard to the redesign, our students and our staff are well prepared. But with regard to the specifics on House Bill 3 board goals, I'm going to turn that over to Tracy Smith, who leads the work on grade 3, and also Joe Gillen, who leads that work here for our CCMR.
In regard to the board goals, we are anticipating moving forward. However, with the STAR changes, you can never guess exactly how they're going to report all the goals. But what I will tell you is that with the new item types, with the students having to type their answers and do short answer responses, which is something new they've never had to do before, gotten to do before, whatever you want the verb to be, we have purchased things like Typing Club to help students to begin to learn how to navigate a keyboard, to adequately be able to put their thoughts in paper. In addition, through our units of study, we have writing units that particularly ask students to respond to prompts that have to do with passages that they have just read. So it is no longer taking a, what's your favorite friend, and tell about a time that you were with them. Instead, they have to take a reading passage, and then there will be a question about that where they actually have to cite text evidence that supports whatever their thesis is. And yes, we use the word thesis in 3rd grade. So we have been through units of study over the years preparing students to be able to justify their answers, both verbally and in written form. We have also, while it doesn't sound great with these new item types, sometimes with some of the types, we're really excited about it because it's more in line with what students can do. It's not just one answer all the time. You have a chance to manipulate something and put it in order for the weather cycle, for example. So it gives the students really some chances in different ways to be able to show their learning. So we're working on that not only in a test format, but also in real life things that they can do every day in the classroom without having to do test prep. So we're excited about that. And then finally, wanted to talk about just a change that we're a little bit concerned about, in that our special ed students sometimes take instead of an online test, they've been taking a paper pencil test. Well, they have just released a couple months ago what the paper test would look like. And with the new item types, they're horrible. They are not clear. It is harder to understand, and we're afraid that our students will have some difficulty in using the paper pencil test. So we're really looking to narrow down as much as possible students that take the paper pencil test, looking at what accommodations and modifications we can make to that testing to be able to help students to be successful.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? I'll start with Ms. Brady.
Ms. Parker and Ms. Smith, it's my understanding that this year for kids with special needs that are under an IEP, they will have an extensive amount of allowable accommodations. Are you finding that to be true? I have not seen all the documentation.
I can't speak to the specific numbers, but there are accommodations such as Tracy Smith just announced, such as speech to text, text to speech, that those are the components on the test, as well as some areas that allow the students to take a look and they hover over a word and it speaks to it or provides a picture representation of it or a definition over it. One of the key ones that they typically do is when you see the word sand, well, sand could be something you fill in a bucket by the ocean, but it could also be something that you do when you are working with wood. So those type of things that are part of it. But with regard to what % of students, how we have for each of those accommodations, those are actually still being gathered because to get them into the data file, they're still being gathered and still being a part of it.
My question was, well, really just more that Texas TEA is allowing more accommodations than we ever had before on this particular test, my understanding.
I don't know that they have added that many more this year, but in years past they have, and they continue to add things to it that are very beneficial. The best part is that we have samples that we can go in and we can actually play with it ourselves. then that way we can help our students who also need those accommodations to play with it as well, so that it's not the first time that they utilize it or see it. The other thing that's really great is the accommodations the state is giving. Many of the companies who are doing online programs are adding those to what they do on a daily basis. So that way it's not so surprising to our students.
Yeah.
Ms. Hatfield.
Thank you for the presentation. I was going to go back to slide 5 about the staff profile, and I was wondering if we could get additional information, not tonight, but additional information on the mentor program. I know we were making some changes to that, and so with 44% of our teachers beginning or 1 to 5 years of experience, I was wondering if we could get some follow-up information on how we're adjusting our mentor program to support new teachers. Would that be possible?
Yes. Get you that information.
Thank you.
Any other questions from board members? Ms. Garza Rojas.
Thank you so much for tonight. I can barely reach this. What do we attribute the increase in overall incidents to, and what are we doing to address them?
So with regard to, specifically with regard to discipline, I mean, we recognize that, a number of the incidents, a high percentage of them deal with substance use. And we've already begun to address that, recognizing it right off the bat at the beginning of the school year as a part of last year as well. One of the things that we do is we have increased our drug awareness counselors and the work that they're doing, the 2 counselors that we have on the campuses. And most recently, we've had 2 family night presentations to address some of those issues. But to talk more about those specific details, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Lance Hamlin, the assistant superintendent here for our support services.
Yeah, I will say that when you look at the number of 58 incidents, and we had 42 that are the felony controlled substance. Also, I think it's very important to know that in prior to 2018, THC, which is really 90% of the number 42 that you see on those incidents, 90% of those incidents have to do with THC. THC prior to 2018 was considered a misdemeanor, so they would not even be on this report that you've seen today. Now that it's considered a felony, we are sharing that information. Okay, and what's really important about THC, it doesn't matter the amount. It could be 16 ounces. It could be a trace amount. It's considered a felony, and it's handled as such. So that really attributes to the large growth that you see in that number, going from what it was prior to. I think the year before we had actually 18, we had 30 incidents across the district. We had 31 in 18-19, 30 in 19-20, and now here we are 21-22. We saw that big growth. So it really was about the students and the use of THC. Now, I will say that the things that we have done so far this year, because we have a very aggressive approach to making sure that we can really help our students get rid of the use of the drug use that we see going across our district, across our region, across the state, and across the nation regarding THC and fentanyl use. We have held those 2 parent educational meetings that we've had at Creekview High School was during a week. We had one on a weekend at Earl Turner. The weekend event we had a higher participation rate. We have also worked with our drug counselor in Ms. Gillen's department. We have created trainings and presentations for our students. And we're going to be working with Ms. O'Sullivan, Chief of School Leadership for Secondary, to work with our principals to schedule those trainings for our kids. We want to make sure we start with all of our 6th grade all the way through 12th, get those presentations done as quickly as possible. So we've also, in working with Mr. Mersch and Sandra Leak, we went out when we felt that we had an issue that we were really concerned about. We have Narcan at every single one of our campuses. When we asked for that support and it was done immediately, we were one of 10 districts in the state of Texas that had it for every single building. I don't know what that number is today, but I know at the time we were one of 10. We also have worked with our security department, Ms. Freeman. She's working with our local law enforcement agencies, and we have started the canine visits. They're searching, they're going through our buildings, and we want to make our students aware that this is serious. We want to make sure they're okay, and so they see that this is a major concern for us, a major problem. Also, we have just started finalizing some communications, some posters for all of our buildings, hallways, and restrooms regarding the negative impact fentanyl use and THC use will have on students if they use it. So we have had a very aggressive approach to get rid of the problem, but this is a major concern for us, and we're going to do everything we can to help our kids in our community.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everything you do.
Any further questions? Ms. Derrick?
I want to just make a comment real quick, Dr. Hamlin, about what you said about Narcan. And that's something I recently learned, that our schools all have Narcan on campus, and just to inform the community about how important that is. That's the equivalent of having an AED on every campus for a drug overdose. And so we are able to respond quickly to overdoses and save lives by having Narcan on every campus in our district. And I applaud the efforts that we took to make that happen. That's huge. And like you said, one of 10 districts in the state that was doing it at the time. Minutes, seconds matter when those things happen. We have to talk to our kids about these things. They are real and they are killing kids every day. But in our district, we are taking steps to try to save lives with an AED as well as with Narcan. And so that is, the nurse on the board's coming out. I'm so proud of the work we're doing on that. That's huge. So thank you, and to Ms. Sleek and her team for that.
And I would like to also say that we are looking to schedule more parent education opportunities for this concern this semester. So we will continue to push and protect our kids.
Thank you. Any further questions from the dais? Okay. Dr. Parker, thank you very much for the report. Ms. Smith, Dr. Hamlin, thank you for adding in your expertise. And we will move to our next agenda item, number 5, the consent agenda. The consent agenda is a mechanism that the board uses to approve a number of routine items together with a single vote in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. The public notice for this meeting includes the list of all consent agenda items, and the board has been provided ample information about these items in advance. Prior to any action taken on the consent agenda item, board members may request withdrawal of individual items for clarification or discussion. So I'll ask board members at this time, are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none and seeing none, board members, do I have a motion regarding the consent agenda? Ms. Hatfield?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, we have a motion from Ms. Hatfield. Do I have a second? I have a second from Ms. Derrick. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please show by raising your hand. I see 6 hands raised, all opposed. So by a vote of 6 in favor and 0 opposed, the consent agenda carries. So our next agenda item is 6, and 6A is items removed from consent, but we did not have any items removed from consent, so we'll go to agenda item 6B, which is to consider or approve the district's annual comprehensive financial report, the ACFR for short, for the period ending August 31st, 2022. So Mr. Guerra, I'm going to turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Black. So as you know, as a board tonight, you are approving our annual financial comprehensive report, which is basically our yearly financial audit. So as you know, our fiscal year ended August 31st, but the auditors come in, they come in a couple times during the year, and they come in after we close, and they start auditing all our books from start to finish. And it takes them really through the end of December. So the report, as you know, came out today, and we presented it to the audit committee with Ms. Derrick and Ms. Brady there. So they got to hear kind of what it all entails and what goes into the annual financial audit report, along with Mr. Mersch was in there. So as you know, the report is very comprehensive. It's very intense, and what they ask from us and what they request from us is really all year long, where they're requesting different things. So it's not for lack of looking when they give us an audit report. I think they got to hear that it's neat when you get a clean audit, but it's hard to maintain, and we've maintained it, for several years now. We maintained it again this year, and like I said, it's not for lack of looking. They really get intense. They really ask a lot of questions. They request a lot of documentation from us, and they check every expenditure that goes in and out. They check every fund. They do really everything top to bottom and check it out. So again, I'm happy to report we did have a clean audit, and It was an unmodified, unqualified opinion, which means everything they put in the report, they didn't have to modify anything they said. They didn't have to modify any numbers, any documentation, any statement they made was without having to switch anything based on the financials. So it was a clean audit report with no findings. So if you have any questions, I'll take them.
Board members, do we have questions for Mr. Guerra? Ms. Derrick.
I'll just make a comment as being a member on the audit committee with Ms. Brady. So we did change audit committee companies, and I don't know when that change happened. I cannot speak confidently on the answer to that, but I think that's important for everyone to know that we had always had, as long as I've been on the board, a clean audit. But we did change companies to make sure that, like, are we actually getting the full look through to make sure we are doing what we're supposed to be doing? New company, same findings. And today we were able to ask the question, okay, does everyone get this? Does everyone get a clean rating and no findings? Is this really even necessary? And she assured us that it's very hard, like you said, to get a clean rating with no findings, and that districts do it, but there are also lots out there that have findings. So I applaud the team for all their hard work, because this audit looks like it was intense and they found nothing.
Thank you. Yeah, and it is hard, and we do have a really solid team. Y'all got to meet Ms. Espinoza tonight, who was our director of finance, and like I said, there was a lot of requested from her, from Giselle, from Ms. Penley, our other directors. So it's a lot that goes into it, and I invited all the staff to come here tonight to hear, because I get to say, hey, everything was great, we did great, we have a good clean audit. So I get to get the smiles from you guys, but they're like, okay, we're good, we'll just watch. So nobody wanted to come, but they're all happy we got a clean audit, so that's fun there.
Other comments from the board? Well, I'll just take an opportunity to thank you, Mr. Guerra, and your entire team for the work you do. And it's, as Ms. Derrick just mentioned, I don't think it's easy and necessarily all that common to have clean audits year in, year out, And so we appreciate all the work that you're doing. And I also want to thank Ms. Derrick and Ms. Brady for serving on the committee this year. It's a bit of extra work, and it's somewhat overwhelming at times with all the numbers you see. But it's good news, and we're excited to get this report from you tonight. Okay. Do I have a motion regarding this item? Ms. Benavides.
I make a motion that we accept the report.
Okay. I have a motion from Ms. Benavides to accept the comprehensive financial report. Is there a second? See a second from Ms. Brady. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please show with a raised hand. All those opposed? So by a vote of 6 in favor and 0 opposing, the motion carries. And that takes us to agenda item number 7, which is comments from board members regarding posted agenda items. Board members, do any of you have any comments you wish to make at this time related to the posted agenda items? Ms. Benavides.
I just want to say thank you so much for all the hard work that goes into these reports, all your time and effort. It means the world to us, and it really makes our job easier. And welcome back, and Happy New Year.
Comments from anyone else? Ms. Derrick.
With it being School Board Appreciation Month, I wanted to thank all of y'all for serving alongside me. Y'all are all just incredible, and it's a pleasure to serve. And I think that it's so fitting that TASB's theme for this year is moving forward together. And I feel like that kind of encompasses what we're doing. Like, our board has really united in the mission and at hand, and we know what needs to get done. And we are excited to move on and work on building the board, the community, the schools, all the things. We're all here. So thank you guys for serving.
Thank you. Anyone else good for the cause tonight? Okay, I would echo everything my colleagues to my right just said. Thanks to all the staff tonight and all the community members and all the students who were here to express their appreciation. And we appreciate you more than you'll know. And go CFB ISD. We are adjourned at 8:09 p.m.